Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Climbing Series. I'm Marcus, a not-so-great climber from Vancouver, Canada, who's hoping to get a little bit better through analysis and an increased motivation for climbing. Here we are today, starting in Hive, Surrey, where we're on this pretty dynamic green 3 hex. There was a pretty fun dyno there at the start, which I was happy to have gotten first try. And even this top half, I felt like I had to be pretty dynamic for. So I thought it was a very well set climb and a great way to start my warm-up. This black 3 hex, on the other hand, was, I think, way too simple. It was pretty much a jug ladder, and honestly not sure why it was a 3. Talking about things that should not be graded, what they were graded is this green 3 hex. At the time, at the gym, this was graded a 4 hex, and this made no sense to me. I think that this is probably a 2 hex in my eyes. Everything was very straightforward. Everything's a jug. I didn't have to do any low probability moves. So I'm glad they at least downgraded it, but I think it should be downgraded even more. This blue 3 hex, on the other hand, I think also was very well set and pretty difficult. This was definitely a part that made me go like, oh, I'm definitely trying here. Maybe not trying, but I thought that there was definitely a solid chance I could fall. Like, even on this next move, I couldn't figure out where to place the feet, so I had to commit to the jug there. And overall, I just thought the body positioning was a little tricky to figure out, and I thought it was just a very well set problem. So feeling pretty warm, I hopped onto this pink 4 hex. It's quite crimpy, and I couldn't quite figure out what the beta was here. Here I'm matched onto this hold, and I consider if I can reach, but I realized that has to just be a foothold. It's not amazing, and so I decided to dyno from the 2 lower holds instead, and I catch it no problem. It felt like a pretty easy dyno to a very solid jug, and from there the rest of it was pretty straightforward. Still though, I was pretty happy to have gone that on my second try, and we moved on to another 4 hex. This yellow 4 hex looked pretty cool to me too. Here I cut feet to try and land that left foot, come into this match, and I thought I'd just be able to lean left and apply the weight onto this sloper, but it was very tough. There is a hold around the arete, and the moment I tried to feel around for it, my body's just too straight up that I just fell. I tried to do this one a little bit more dynamically there on that attempt, where I went straight right hand trying to go straight into the left, but that felt pretty difficult too, and I had completely missed the left hand. So on this next attempt, I decided to go even more dynamically. I'm trying some other things first, trying to see if I can press, but there's nothing really helping me here, so we go for the very dynamic way of pulling and trying to catch both at the same time, and that gets me the send. I was really happy about that climb, because I don't necessarily think that's a super easy move. This orange 4 hex, if you've been watching previous episodes, is a paddle that I really want to get. I have not been even close in my previous sessions. Just struggling even to get the right hand out. But I thought I would try and give this at least a solid few attempts. See if I can improve here. And I started to notice that I could get a lot deeper in my dyno. And you'll see that I'm really dropping those hips, bring them nice and low so that I can be very spring-loaded into this dyno. And once I started doing that, it started to feel a lot better. I definitely was not consistent, but here I'm at least getting the hands out towards where I want them to go. And I think on that attempt, I actually got my hand to touch the right one. Obviously, it's not amazing. I'm definitely not close, but this is a lot more progress than I was seeing before. And after these dozen or so attempts, I was happy with at least the progress that I made and moved on. The next few climbs that were set in the back of Surrey, I thought were really well set, and I thought they were all really cool. Starting with this orange 4-hex, I couldn't quite read it at first. I couldn't quite figure out, am I supposed to be moving left? Do I move right here? I like this little toe hook that I have going on with the left foot. But once I have the hands here, I'm so confused as to what I'm supposed to do. I considered if I was supposed to swap the feet and try and push myself off and just lean to the right. Here I'm just trying to push myself off and just span it. But what I end up deciding to do is I'm almost certain it's a dyno. So I was happy to catch that, but I just completely missed the foot and I come sliding off. So this time I hit the dyno. I still missed the foot, but I think I hit the dyno with a bit more precision, not jumping nearly as far, and I'm able to hold my momentum. And from here, the top part was not too bad. Remembering to use the arete was something I was pretty happy with as well. But yeah, I thought that orange 4-hex was very well set, and I was very happy about it. This yellow 4-hex, I was having trouble figuring out here. I hit this left hand, and I could not imagine having the right hand there. I stared at it for quite a while because I think it makes no sense. And I literally told my friend who was filming that there's no shot I make this next move. I wasn't even going to give it another attempt, but I was like, I have to for the film. It looks dumb if I just do one attempt. And I surprised myself there by actually holding it. And the rest of this too was definitely not trivial. And the whole time going through my head was, oh, I don't want to do that again. Like, let's try at 100%. And so I was really, really happy to have gotten that. I think if I wasn't filming the series, I would not have given that another attempt. And so I really surprised myself in being able to get that climb. This black 4-hex was also something that was perplexing me. I couldn't figure out how to start at first. I thought maybe there was space between those two holds, but there wasn't. And I was considering heel hooking with the right foot, but ultimately I decided to go with the left foot heel. And after the left hand, the position just didn't feel great. I couldn't figure out how I was supposed to match with the right hand while I am pressing with the right there. And this also just felt impossible. This was another case though of brainstorming more ideas just so that I can have a better attempt. And here I decide, oh, what if I switch feet first? And once I switched feet, that move was very doable. Almost felt easy. And so back-to-back climbs here, I literally went from thinking that this move was impossible to giving it another attempt and literally getting it. So that just really signals to me that I need to work on my mentality a little bit. Whenever something feels impossible, just taking the time to analyze like why I think it feels so hard, and at least giving it another attempt to make it feel a little bit more possible. Ultimately though, I thought that next move was pretty hard, and there was still enough things that I wanted to continue climbing that I had moved on. This blue 4-hex I had featured before in the past. I thought this pinch on the left was very difficult. I was trying to explore different ways to grab that pinch this time, trying to be a little bit more dynamic going up to the pinch and seeing if I can maybe hit a better part of it. But again, it just felt very hard. I'm still unsure what the best beta here would be, because the left pinch just feels so fat that it is quite tough. But yeah, so giving it one last try. Here you see I'm trying to move up without even the left hand, trying to see if I can go up with just the lower pinch. But it doesn't make any sense, and I just call my session there. I ended up coming back to Story this weekend because I heard there was a buddy climb going on. I'm sorry for any of the filming sometimes. My elementary, my younger cousins are filming some of these. I decided to bring my little cousins to come climb, and this was that session, I guess. So yeah, we started with that blue 3 hex on the slab. It was not too difficult. This pink 3 hex in the corner I thought was pretty cool. In general, I really like these compression-y climbs in the corner with a lot of presses. So doing this climb for warm-up was definitely very fun. I will say though, I thought that this penultimate hold and even the finish hold were very slopey. Again, sorry about the filming. But yeah, I thought they were quite slopey and honestly a little bit difficult. You definitely need a certain amount of sloper strength to, I think, grab them. This yellow 3 hex on the other hand, very straightforward. Nothing to really learn from there. And then it was time for this blue 4 hex. So this blue 4 hex was one of the climbs in this back section that, again, I just thought looked really cool. It is quite crimpy, so I didn't hop on this last time. And here I was having a little bit of trouble reading it. Until here, I remembered that I could grab the arete. Because I couldn't imagine, I knew that right hand was a right hand, but I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do with the left. And now we have these 2 crimps that are absolutely terrible. This one on the right is just so bad. It is very thin, it is a little bit greasy, and I couldn't get any weight on this thing. So on this next attempt, I decided to go straight to the slanted one, and I try and cross arms, trying to see if I can go to the bad one with my left, but I think there's no shot I can do that. So I decided to do the one thing that I really don't like doing, is I decided to match on the crimp. Did a little piano tile match there, and with the right crimp too, it was all definitely very doable. And going to that jug, I was really happy. I'd say matching in general is something that I've been working on, and I've realized that I've been able to do it more often than I could before. So something that I'm bad at, that I'm really happy that I improved on at least and could do in that moment. This yellow 4 hex, I know I said I shouldn't say things are impossible, but man, this yellow 4 hex felt impossible. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here, besides if this is just a paddle. And if this is a paddle, it is crazy. I can't generate nearly enough strength. I've seen people being able to stick the toe hook on the left while just grabbing the next hold, but there's no way I have the span for that. So I think for me, I have to paddle, and I think that was just way too hard. I'm back on this black climb that I tried last session. I know it's in the same video, but this is, again, a different session. And I was really happy to have at least been able to hold this right hand and bring this left foot up. I was on the foothold, and that was at least huge improvements from last time. The main focus here is really on the way up, using my left foot to press against the wall to help stop me from rotating out. So I'm inching my foot up, but wow, it is such a small foot chip, and it's at such an angle around the volume that I found it very hard to get any meaningful weight onto it. It was very difficult to get my big toe like right on it and weigh it, so I ended up moving on, and I thought I'd just save it for another day. Again, I'm back on this orange 4 hex, and I'm making progress. I think there I got both hands touching the 2 holds there as well, and this is starting to feel pretty doable. I don't necessarily think I can send the entire thing, but I really want to get this paddle. And there, again, I just feel like I am so close. It's the same feeling I've had again and again with a lot of these coordination dino moves, where I just needed to stick once and then I'm sure I can get it every time after. But I just could not make that stick, even with the hands touching both of them. But it feels like something I can get on my next session. This orange climb was pretty difficult too. Keep in mind, this was getting towards the later half of my session, and I just lost so much skin on that orange climb. And I thought this was such an awkward position to dino from. On my previous attempts, my left knee kind of dropped in, but I had to fix it. I tried to stay more in like a froggy position. And although it looks like a full-on jug, which it is, it's also shallow to the wall, so you have to be, to an extent, a little bit accurate. But yeah, here I couldn't figure out... here I was happy to have been able to get the left foot all the way to the volume, and I get this press. But I realized that my right hand is on this crimp that maybe it shouldn't be on. And I try and just hop my way to the bigger hold, and unfortunately I do fall out there. I feel like that is something I definitely should be able to stick, but I think I was a little bit tired, mentally not fully there. So this time I decided to go straight to the kind of slippy hold, go into the press, and the top is not too bad for me. I really liked this climb. I thought it was very well set from the dyno into this press. I just thought it was really cool overall. This purple climb also looked pretty cool. I couldn't figure out how to start it though. Those two underclings look really amazing, but they are pretty far off the wall, and it's quite overhung. The left hand isn't amazing either. And I'm unsure if I'm supposed to be going right hand or left hand first, which way my hand should be. You can see me just puzzling here about, should I have my right hand on top? Should I have my left hand on top? Ultimately, after giving it a try and staring at it a bit longer, I decide that no, it probably is left hand on top. So I give it another try. Or maybe I don't. I'm still puzzling here. But no, eventually I do believe that it's left hand. And I think in the future, I just gotta commit to this move and really just stick it. But yeah, I had lost a lot of skin on that orange dino climb. So the rest of my session was kind of just to try new things, not necessarily with the intention that I was going to send them. I thought this yellow, you can see that, yeah, I am frustrated losing all that skin, and it hurts. But yeah, I thought this yellow 4-hex looked really cool. I really focused on keeping that left heel hook in, but my fingers are just dying. But yeah, focus on the heel hook. Maybe not. I think I was also just getting really frustrated that I was getting tired and losing a lot of skin. But mentally, for sure, the focus was working on that heel hook. So here, we make our way to the right. And after sticking this move, I thought that was honestly pretty good enough. I don't think I was going to make much more progress for the rest of the session, so I decided to move on. So this was Valentine's Day weekend, and our gym had set a Valentine's Day climb, a buddy climb, where you're supposed to do, where one partner can only use the pinks, the other person can only use the blues, and you help each other complete the climb. Unfortunately, when I was at the gym at this point, my little cousins had left. I was at the gym on my own, and so I was like, oh, this is for all my single fellows out there. Fellows and fellas who may have been single this Valentine's Day weekend, and I want to prove that you don't need nobody else. You can send climbs on your own. So I did this. I tried to do this climb doing only the blue. And while the first part was not the worst, this next move I thought was really hard. I couldn't figure out if I could get my foot up there. And a staff member actually came by to tell me that, like, yeah, you gotta get your foot up there. I also just started sweating the heck out of my hands, and luckily the staff member also decided to bring me chalk. So shout outs to Gwen for being a homie. But yeah, I'm chalked up now, focusing on trying to get this right foot up. He's giving me a little bit of beta as to where I need to place my foot, just because it is very high where I'm getting my foot up. And it felt very scary here, placing my hand on this jib and my right foot is just not even on a foothold. And then I realized, oh man, this next move is so far, it is so scary. So on the next attempt, I decided to make sure that my left hand was higher up on the higher one of the two there. So not using the lower one, but rather the higher one. And then again, trusting the feet, and it felt a whole lot better. So here we go off this press, nice and slowly. Maybe I'm, readjusting a little bit, but yeah, we press, get the foot up. Put it in place, really trust the foot here, go nice and slow. And this time I'm within reach of this jug. So I proved that I can do this buddy climb on my own. But I also wanted to be able to do the pink one. So I tried to see if I could do the pink one on my own as well. I think this next move was honestly the hardest one of the entire sequence. I could just barely reach it. And I'm blindly swapping feet there. But luckily, both of them are just straight up jugs, so it was not too bad. And I just thought this was such a fun, cool idea. Trying to do a buddy climb by yourself. And this last move, I was able to do pretty statically, just pulling myself up there, leaning forward, and getting the match. So, it just proves that you don't need anybody else. Shoutouts to all my single people on Valentine's Day. Luckily, one of my friends did end up coming later on. Shoutouts to Melissa. And we decided to try and do the buddy climbs properly. So this is how I believe it was more intended to be sent. She did try and see if she could reach climb to climb, but did end up using my legs as holds. Part of this, we were unsure about when we should be doing buddy-related climb things and when we were supposed to switch. So here again, I decided to use, I believe we use myself as a hold again. Yeah, and she grabs my legs and is able to go to the next jug. This next section, although I was able to do it on my own before, I make it it's definitely a lot easier being able to use her arms as holds so that I have actual handholds to use. We move up into this higher section, which I had previously had trouble with. And it was actually very helpful at this point where when trying to get my foot up, she actually presses my foot into the hold for me with her left hand there. And I felt a lot more secure in the foot. And so I grabbed the jug, no problem. And now I'm just waiting for her to get ready to launch herself up towards the top so I can press her against the wall. And oh, she launched herself a lot faster than I was expecting. I thought we were going to talk about it before she just flung herself at it. So a little bit of miscommunication. We didn't bother doing it again because we knew we could do it. And overall, I just thought it was a great buddy climb where you didn't need a buddy.